Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel or becoming a patron at patreon.com/Afterlife Topics. Welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is your host, Cyrus, coming at you with a new video. And we're talking about, could AI keep people alive? Quotations are important, after death. An article on the Wall Street Journal that one of my patrons sent me, and I'm happy to respond to. So first, a quick shout out to you guys watching this channel. I have some new subscribers, so thank you for joining us. And as you can tell, I've been doing a lot of the communication videos lately, the dowsing videos and things like that, and those will keep coming. I have some interesting ideas coming up about things I want to explore or try to reveal through my communicators, so that's very exciting. Also have some interesting guest interviews coming up on this channel soon too. So if you haven't done so yet, now would be an excellent time to subscribe to this channel, as we're at almost 5,000 subscribers. If I could just get to 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers on this channel, momentum may pick up at that point. It'll also provide some credibility so I can possibly bring on even higher tier guests on the channel. There's a lot of people in fields and authors. They have publicists you have to get through, and they don't even pay attention to the requests they get if the channel that wants to interview them has less than 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers. It's unfortunately what people have to deal with. So if we can get up to a number like that, then maybe I can start bringing in some even bigger guests and things like that on the show. So that would be cool. So anyway, so with that message out of the way, let's look at this concept of transhumanism. There's an illustration here. Basically, it begins by talking about how, what if Abraham Lincoln could address Congress today, or your great-grandmother could help him run the family business? Researchers and entrepreneurs are beginning to ponder how artificial intelligence could create versions of people after their deaths, not only as static replicas for the benefit of their loved ones, but as evolving digital entities that may steer companies or influence world events. Oh, God. Numerous startups are anticipating growing demand for digital personas, including Replica, an app that learns to replicate a person in the form of a chatbot, and Hereafter AI, which records people's life stories and uses them to create a replica embedded in a smart speaker. So I'm a little bit mixed about this subject, right? So let's look at the good and the bad, okay? Let's look at the bad first. What this is materialism. And so materialists believe that the personality, the soul, it's not an immutable element of existence. They believe that it is something that is a randomly occurring coincidence based upon Newtonian physics. You have all these billiard balls in your brain hitting in random directions, which happens to create the facade of a conscious sentient awareness, a person. This is called eliminative materialism, and it's the philosophical backbone behind transhumanism. So they believe the human being isn't real, the consciousness is not real, there is no soul, but it's just it's basically an algorithm that's functioning and presenting the illusion of you and me, which is very strange because it goes in contrast to like the most basic things that we understand about ourselves through self-awareness. But it's what these people believe. So eliminative materialists believe that because it's a coincidence that you could essentially recreate somebody as as what they were if you can just replicate that coincidence of Newtonian physics and billiard balls like bouncing around in just the right direction, the right way to create a personality. And then you'll basically have that person all over again. And what they think is that if you just upload enough data into an algorithm about a person's life, it will recreate who the person is. Now, to me, it's a laughable notion. It's almost like what a small child would imagine life really is. Maybe a very imaginative child. But it's like it's an idea cooked up out of a complete sense of just non-reality about how consciousness is, how sentient beings operate, and an attempt to just crunch it down into this very, very strange mold. But this is eliminative materialism. It's the belief consciousness is not real. And of course, going along with every other tenet of materialism, which is that no supernatural thing can exist because it goes against their belief system. So when someone has a supernatural experience, which is chronicled by endless amounts of evidence, it is automatically wrong because this very kind of weird type of gospel tells us it can't happen. And what do these people hold up to the highest standards? Artificial intelligence. That is their saviors. Something we notice in existence is that people always replace God with something else. When you take God out of a picture, which could just be a sense of a higher power, a source consciousness, a sense of a greater reality, whatever you want to call it. But if you remove that, people begin creating new gods. In communism, they made their leaders gods. In North Korea, they made the Kim family into gods. And then in the West, they're beginning to make artificial intelligence into their new god. And this is transhumanism, and I would avoid it. Now, what is the good side? What is the positive side of this? The positive side is from the vantage of what we talk about this channel, which includes spirit communication, which includes non-materialism and idealism with consciousness as the central focus, the central creative power. You could create potentially an algorithm, a chatbot of a loved one, and that actual loved one might be able to influence that algorithm, influence that chatbot until it becomes much more than just a computer simulation. So it could actually be a tool for communication with the other side, potentially. So that's what makes it interesting and maybe worth checking out. And I guess there could be a psychological benefit as well to people, when they get a sense of, some kind of a sense of still being able to talk to somebody. But I promise you, these chatbots, it's such a sloppy imitation. So the people who worship the great AI god, AI is going to come and save us all. We're going to become transhuman cyborgs. I don't see it happening anytime soon because look, we can't even get AI-driven cars. Okay, AI-driven cars still crash into trees. Like, we haven't quite figured it out yet. So I don't understand the preoccupation with AI. But again, it's because you take a higher power out of the situation, the human mind will try to recreate it however it's possible, whether it's political leaders or it's a concept like this creating almost like an artificial spirit world, because that is their goal. If we can all be uploaded into a digital system, then we can create for ourselves some kind of matrix or something where we can live after death as these incorporeal beings, as opposed to this just happening naturally, the way it's supposed to happen through the natural mechanics of the universe. Because they don't believe in that, they're trying to artificially create it. Which again, it's very sad and very tragic, because when these people do die, what are they going to do? They're going to deny that they're dead, and they're still going to be pursuing this. Everything that they're trying to pursue exists naturally. Our consciousness does go on, can become incorporeal and permanently in existence, but it happens naturally. It happens as part of physics in ways we don't fully understand. You don't have to create an artificial version of the spirit world, which is what these people want to do. That's it for today's talk. Thanks for watching this. If you want to get involved, work with me one-on-one, become a patron, you can do that. Sign up at patreon.com/afterlife topics. I'll do one-on-one coaching about astral projection or any other subject that you want to learn about. So that's at the $30 level. So head on to the Patreon if you want to support the work. And finally, of course, join the Facebook group or head to afterlifetopics.com to read articles and updates about when this potential new book will come out, which is in the works, but things have been moving so fast, changing, even with the dowsing rods, so much new material coming in that I need to wait a little bit until I can get that new book out. But thanks for hanging in there, and stay in touch on here for updates about that. All right, this is Cyrus. I'll talk to you guys on the next video.